Hey guys, so I thought I'd do a quick video today on a couple of things. First, I thought I'd try something new in my hair. I had this old earring laying around with like feathers on it, and I did like a little plait in my hair and sort of attached the earring. It's now sort of like dangling down. It looks quite nice. Another thing is the main point of my video today is how I deal with my depression and my anxiety. I'm 17 years old. I'm nearly 18. I'll be 18 in like 3 months. Um, so this is a quick video on like how I deal with it and how you guys could deal with it too. So I am on antidepressants. I'm on 20 milligrams of citalopram, which I take daily. I take every morning. They do help. You'll find if for those of you that are contemplating whether to go to your GP about going on antidepressants, they'll often tell you that you need a 2 week course of antidepressants to let it get into your system because it doesn't tend to get into your system until 2 weeks. So normally they give you a 2 week trial to like get it into your system, and then they'll give you the repeat prescription, as it were. Um, so that's one thing. The ones I'm on, they did give me headaches to start with, but after a while that sort of subsided. Um, Now I generally, it's kind of hard to explain. Like whereas before I was like not having severely negative thoughts, the sort of I looked at the world through really really black tinted eyes, like just everything was getting to me. And I think the Citalopram sort of help the sort of darker thoughts. They sort of like they help me sort of think, okay, no, I've got ways of dealing with this. Before I got put on antidepressants and before I was like clinically diagnosed with depression, I knew I had depression, but I never, thought about going to the doctors because I think, I'm quite a stubborn person myself. I don't like admitting that I have something wrong with me. So the way I used to deal with it was to start with not very good. I cried a lot. I know that sounds weird, but I cried a lot. I did cry a lot, and I think, but it has. I was reading a study. Apparently, crying is supposed to help. Apparently, it releases like toxins in your body that like build up stress. I mean, I'm a psychology student myself, so I know like the pathways of stress, and it is possible because there's a hormone that makes you stress. Um, and it's like all through to do with your pathways, like in your brain, and apparently that hormone is released through tears, so it stops the build up of it, which in long term helps your immune system. Again, psychology brain, like stress has been shown to have a negative effect, sorry, on your immune system. So um, like letting it all out is not necessarily a bad thing. Um, so yeah, I didn't deal with it so well. I think when I first started realizing that I was depressed, it was about 2 years ago when I was about 15. I was going through some really sort of typical teenage times, I like to call them, where you're rebelling against everything. I was bullied quite relentlessly as a teen and as a young teen. So like when I was like 11 or 12, in fact, I've pretty much been bullied my whole like entire school period. Ever since I started school, I've been bullied, whether it be because I wear glasses or because I wore braces at one point, because I'm skinny, because I don't have necessarily large boobs. It's just, I was bullied for everything and anything, and I think, that dents someone's self-esteem to the point where, it got to the point where I was doing anything and everything to make people like me, and when it didn't work, I was getting myself worked up, and I think that's where the stress originates from. Um, I've never necessarily been close to my mum. I'm closer to my dad than I am my mum, and I think, because I lived with my mum, I was also fighting for that attention because I have got a younger brother, and now I've got a younger sister. She was born last year, so I was constantly fighting for my mother's attention, which I know it shouldn't be that way, but it kind of was that way, and it got me down. And I think it started kicking in when I was about 15. I'd noticed that at night times on my own, if I was sat in my bedroom or if I was just, generally on my own, um, I'd start having these really awful, like, thoughts and bad dreams. For example, when I was about 16, I think, must have been when I was about 16, um, it got to the point where I was so down and I hated myself so much that it got to the point where I didn't want to get out of bed. And my mum had to physically pull me out of bed. I refused to get out of bed because I didn't think that I deserved to be here. I, when my doctor spoke to me, he asked if I had any suicidal thoughts. And truthfully, yes, I did. I never acted on it. Truthfully, yes, I went through a stage of self-harming, but that was purely um, just an experiment to see if it did let out some of this anger I had, and it didn't work. It didn't work for me. I don't have anything against people that do self-harm. Personally, it's your body. I do think it looks horrible when you have all these scars up your arms. I mean, luckily I have freckles, so I can't really see my scars. It does help in the sense it takes your mind away from the pain, like emotional pain, but I saw it as a short-term solution. It was never going to solve my problems. Um, so I stopped doing it. And then, yes, I did have suicidal thoughts, but I never once acted on it. Um, at the end of the day, my nan passed away when I was 11, and she would have hated me to feel this way. And I think she's been a big part in, like, how I am now. I mean, I've got 2 tattoos in memory of her. So, you know, I didn't deal with my depression in the way that maybe I should have. I acted out a lot. I drank, I did drugs. Um, I do like to think I'm a better person for it, because at the end of the day, if I hadn't had those experiences, then maybe I wouldn't be the person I am today. Um, my mum sort of disowned me for quite a long time, and she started just calling me a delinquent, and basically I was doing all the things I shouldn't have. I was going out late, going out past my curfew, sneaking out, stealing my mum's alcohol, doing drugs. And to be honest, again, not gonna lie to you, I did some pretty serious drugs, and I hate myself for it. I mean, I have not touched any kind of drugs for 2 years now. I smoke, that's about it. I do smoke. Um, but I'm going to be truthful to everyone. I'm not going to sit here and say, I wouldn't touch drugs. Like, well, I haven't touched drugs, because that would be lying, and I'm not a liar. I did do some terrible things in my past just purely because I didn't know what to do with myself, and I didn't know how to conquer my angst and my anxiety. Um, so it's kind of a weird way of dealing with things. I think that's the problem with today's teenagers. Like, they're not getting the proper help. Like, I sort of plucked up the courage to go to my doctor and tell him how I was feeling, and it worked out really well for me. I'm now on antidepressants. I feel tons better. Um, my anxiety is still a little bit funny. I do keep on having panic attacks. But that's purely because I dwell on things sometimes. It's sort of like I'll dwell on something and I'll be like, can't breathe. So it's my fault, I guess. Um, yeah. So I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. I have done some really terrible things, but that was, like I said, purely because I didn't know how to deal with my depression. It was sort of more, um, again, going back to like making people want to like me. Um, like, the reason I used to sneak out was because they told me to. It was never once because I wanted to. It was because, oh, maybe I feel happier in myself if people like me. Um, and my mum even says that to me now. She goes, you just got in the wrong group. She goes, it was never your fault. You never were a bad girl. And I don't think I was. I just, like I said, the depression, I did not know how to deal with it. And it was sort of, because I was only 15, 14, I was sort of like, oh, I don't know what to do. So, that's where it kind of arose from. But now I tend to deal with my depression in an entirely different way. If I start feeling really, really depressed, even if I'm on these antidepressants, and there have been times, where I have still felt depressed, all I do is I read a book, or I go online, or I chat to a friend, I ring up a friend, and I let it all out. Because, you can't keep it all inside you. It's a really weird system. And this might be different for you than it is to me. But I know that if I don't let something out and if I sort of keep it built up inside me, when it does end up showing its ugly face, it's like hell has been raised from like beneath the earth. That's why I kind of like I'm like just spewing negativity at my friends, and they're all sort of like, okay, I'm sorry. Like my friend Kirsty last night, major rant to her on the phone, and she was like, no, anytime. So they're the good friends in life. So anyway, that's how I sort of dealt with my depression and how I'm dealing with my depression now. If you have any questions, comment below and I will try and answer you. I'm not on YouTube completely all the time. Um, and you know, just if you have anything to ask me, don't be afraid to inbox me like in private message or anything like that. I'm really aiming to help people here because I don't want people to make the same mistakes I did. Although, like I said, you know, maybe that's why I am the person I am today. So yeah, comment down below, subscribe, and I shall speak to you guys later. Okay, bye.